Welcome to ABLG TV, quick resources for busy parents and professionals in the autism community. In this video, we're going to talk about adapting your ABA home program to meet the needs of your middle schooler. ABLG TV is brought to you by Above and Beyond Learning Group. We are a therapeutic intervention agency located in New Jersey, and we specialize in ABA and speech therapy for learners with autism and related developmental disorders. In today's episode, we're giving you 7 innovative categories to help you brainstorm how your middle schooler's needs are changing and how your applied behavior analysis program can meet those needs. After all, ABA therapy doesn't end with concrete programs like receptive and expressive identification. So we're going to talk about innovative skills to teach middle schoolers. Many people have the misperception that applied behavior analysis is only for young children with autism, or only for those with challenging problem behavior. Many people also believe that ABA is only for academic programs. But the truth is that ABA can be used across the lifespan. It can be used with all different populations of people. ABA programs can apply to birth through adulthood. As children age, their needs become more complex. Teaching a 3-year-old how to communicate his wants and needs and how to use a spoon is very different from teaching a 13-year-old about personal boundaries and reading the nonverbal context of communication. So how do we adapt our ABA programming to middle school children? After a comprehensive needs assessment, an ABA program for middle school age children can incorporate some of the following more advanced categories. Language programming in middle school needs to change and shift from concrete language, such as identifying common objects, to more abstract language such as social language, and also pragmatic language. For example, in the area of social language, how do we talk to peers versus adults versus strangers? How do we use and understand idioms and slang the same way that peers do? We need to teach what we say and how we say it, and also interpreting what and how other people say things. And we need to teach how to read and express appropriate body language. The internet and technology become extremely important to middle schoolers, and it's important that our kids have access to the same things that their peers do so that they're not left out. But it's especially important to teach internet best practices and to plan for safety. To teach middle schoolers how to identify accurate and credible sources of information on the internet when they're looking up things about relationships, sexual health, and so forth. We need to teach them how technology and social media impact their relationships, as well as legal aspects of social media so they don't accidentally get themselves in trouble. It also becomes important to cover common health topics. And under the area of personal safety, it's important to teach kids how to differentiate between different kinds of abuse, such as emotional and physical or sexual abuse, between bullying, sexual harassment, sexual assault, and dating violence. This is for their own protection, and also so that they can go forth into the world in an educated way and avoid accidentally becoming perpetrators of any of this as well. It's important to teach them how to promote safe environments at home, school, and in the community. And it's also important to teach our middle schoolers how to identify when an environment is not safe for them. Another category that ABA can help with is puberty and adolescent development, and there are an infinite number of categories underneath this, but one example would be understanding physical, social, cognitive, and emotional changes that occur in adolescence. The changes that occur in adolescence are scary enough, but if you're not informed about them, they can become terrifying and provoke all kinds of different behavior. It's important to teach children how friends, family, and media influence their self-concept and body image. And while this sounds like a really advanced skill, all of our children deserve to know how to form an identity. Under their identity, it's important to help them distinguish the differences in gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation. It's also important to teach them the external influences that impact their beliefs and attitudes about gender, sexual orientation, and gender identity. It's never too early to start teaching middle schoolers about healthy relationships. For example, teaching them what the characteristics of healthy and unhealthy relationships are. Teaching them how to evaluate the health of a relationship. Teaching them the impacts of power differences such as age, status, and position to ensure that they're educated enough not to be taken advantage of. Teaching them similarities and differences between friendship and romantic relationships. It's important that middle schoolers can identify appropriate expressions of affection within varied relationships, and most importantly, that they can identify sources of trusted support such as parents, teachers, and other adults. Social skills is another area of teaching that needs to evolve beyond turn-taking and saying hello to others on the playground. Some middle school age social skills might include decision-making skills, respectful communication, promoting dignity and respect for all of the people in their community, respecting and asserting personal boundaries, negotiation skills. For example, what are you supposed to do when somebody else wants to play a video game and you want to go outside? As well as communication of difficult and sensitive topics. Whether we like it or not, middle schoolers are starting to talk about some hot topics, and we want our learners to be able to participate and also know how to evaluate the information they're getting from their peers. And finally, independent and functional life skills are critical to bring into programming at this time. Hygiene routines need to be down pat, and that also needs to include evaluating one's own appearance instead of being told by others whether or not they look acceptable to go out into the community. It includes preparing meals and snacks, and it includes helping out with household chores or even volunteering if possible in the community. We hope this post helps you brainstorm some of the out-of-the-box ways to design ABA programs for older learners. And now it's your turn. Tell us in the comments below. How have you used ABA to design unique programs for middle school aged kids? How have you adapted an ABA program to meet the needs of an older learner? We hope you're finding this information helpful, and for more tips and resources, check out our extensive Learning Center and article library at www.ablg.org. You can also find us on social media, where we curate the hottest tips and current events for the autism community. Thanks for watching ABLG TV, and be sure to check back weekly for new episodes, and find us at www.ablg.org.